I set up a little demo to show you. This is the way we do our testing, actually. This box here actually generates those I-rate tones. And normally those are generated over our transmitter building, but we have to be able to check all of our receivers. So I can individually transmit these individual tones through my multi-coupler into my receivers, and you can see our software, our logging software is actually indicating that tone 1 is being received, and you can see them on the receiver. And of course I can send multiple tones. And for example, whenever they go to send a destruct command, there's an arm command, and then there's an actual destruct command. And I think arm is something like 1, 4, and 5 or something like that. And then destruct, I think 4 is turned off and 3 is turned on or something like that. I can't remember. I don't run the transmitter, so I don't remember what the tone sequence is. But anyways, that's what this system does here. And those systems are run off these computers here, which are archiving computers.
Can we take some pictures?
Sure. I'm not worried.
Okay. Okay, now flip those back.
Yeah, here we go.
Where the
But these archiving computers here are just running. It's running regular Windows XP, and the software was done on site by one of our software engineers. And what it's doing is it's essentially keeping a log of the signal strength as well as what tones were enabled at any given time, and the time and date stamps on every second. So you'll see this moving every second. Once a second, it's updating, and it's pulling all the information from our receivers. We also, well, our antennas are down right now, but I have a positioner or a rotator, if you want to call it. When you came, did you come from the front here?
Yeah.
There was a big tower over to the right here with the big platform on it.
Yeah.
We have several rotatable log periodic antennas up there. Unfortunately, they've all been hit by lightning and are all down right now. But normally, I can use those if I'm looking for noise. I can rotate and try to pinpoint where it's coming from. Right now, I'm kind of limited. I just have I don't know if you saw it up there. There was this big kind of tank-looking antenna. We call it the water tank, and it's a big UHF omnidirectional. So that's actually what I'm using right now to demo that. Over at the air tower, since we are a flight facility, we maintain all the air radios there as well, all the VHF and UHF air radios for the flight controls over there. And I can monitor all that remotely from here. So at any given time, I can see all my transmitters, receivers, whatever status is. I've got one down here. No, this is actually custom software that was written by Park Air. They're the company that created the air radios that England of all places. Yeah. Apparently, England and Finland are the hotbed for air radio equipment. And they're used everywhere in the United States, all over the world. Those are the two. Norm? So, anyways, not real exciting, but the nice thing is I don't have to go all the way over to the tower to check something if they call me and say something's wrong. Something's not going to be working right. I can check it out. Another big thing about this site is we're a receiver site. And I don't know if you noticed when you came down the road, there was a sign on the right that said RF quiet zone.
Yes, we did.
You know, it's kind of a joke now. Everyone's walking around with a cell phone and a two-way radio, but be that as it may. We're a receiver site, so we have mobile receivers set up to receive anything from air traffic, marine band, really anything from about 1 megahertz right up through a couple of gigs that we have the capability to receive here. And I've just got the receiver set up kind of on what we typically listen to. We've got some project frequencies that we use during the launch. So like during the launch on
Thursday morning, yeah.
That's probably good. I should know that because I probably get to be
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I got to be here at 3. I found out that's my report time. So during a launch, they'll use specific project frequencies, and those aren't normally available through the usual channels, if you will. So what we do is we actually have those frequencies set up on these receivers, and then this audio from these receivers actually goes through these distribution amplifiers, and it goes out to various places. One place goes to the RCC or NASCOM. Have you been down in the NASCOM yet?
Launch control?
below launch control, the first floor.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, we've got a room there called NASCOM, and basically all the communications for everything goes through that room.
Gotcha.
And some of that audio, or all of this audio, is going into the NASCOM, and then it's being piped into our various channels here on the move system. And I'm sure you guys have seen this already, haven't you, so far?
I'll be honest, they haven't done much tours this year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We
were happy to get
when
here,
you were
Jason.
here. What was it? 2
Last
years
year.
ago? Was it
Last year with the USO.
Were we still using the old the old gray tops intercoms?
No, I don't think so.
Were we had moved these?
We
already?
we didn't see much of those.
Okay.
We didn't see
Well,
much of those.
if you go in the control center or whatever, you'll see 1,000 of these. They're everywhere. This is the main intercom system for the entire facility.
I think they did use that because Jack Vieira ran the launch last
Okay.
year.
That's our main
I remember seeing
intercom
something
for
like
mission intercom for any of the missions throughout the facility. And all this audio here is piped into the NASCOM, and then that audio is fed into the move system where you can receive, you can actually listen to most of these. In addition, the LMR system, the handhelds, you actually have access to several of those talk groups. For
Gotcha.
example, the LMR Project 1, 2, and 3. So if you were to talk in any one of those, you would actually come out over the LMR system.
Because we were talking back and forth to Jack from the
Right.
launch site.
Right, which is that's the reason we set these up, so you can be on the pad with a radio and still be able to talk back to the RCC.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way we
Yeah.
came up with. So all that audio is fed from here over there. It's also fed over to the transmitter building over on the island as
Gotcha.
well. So it used to be fed to the Navy, and it used to be fed upstairs at OTS, but they did away with those lines. So actually, all those channels on my amplifiers are empty now. I don't even use them. And the nice thing about these receivers is they're fully software controllable. So, for example, I've got this one receiver brought up here where I can change frequency, mode, everything right from here. So, the idea is that if we had a mission where we were changing frequencies quite a bit, we wouldn't have to have somebody doing this. They could literally sit there with a chair and just control each receiver just by sitting there. They didn't have to do anything. It's nice when they do a PM, because with the PM I have to go through and I have to change the frequency 10 times per receiver and then go to the next one and do it all the way through. And you can either sit here and dial it in every time, or you can just sit there and key it in. And then it's closer to my test gear because I'm constantly changing everything on the test equipment too, so it's nice for that. So the way this system works is that we don't have one antenna for every receiver. We've got multiple antennas to use, but to make it a little more simplified, we have what's called a multi-coupler. I don't. Is anyone in here RF?
We teach an RF class. Yeah, we teach one RF class.
I don't want to throw a bunch of terms on you. What the hell are you talking about? What a multi-coupler is essentially is a way to take one antenna and split it into multiple outputs for multiple receivers. And that's what this is doing. And the beauty of this particular multi-coupler is it has an amplifier built into it too. So if I'm dealing with weak signals anyways, I can turn on my amplifier and get 20 dB a gain. Yeah, it's saved me a lot of times. Some of the aircraft, they get really far off the coast and they get really weak, and I can't hear them so well, but I can turn on that preamp. How far is far? They'll get 20, 30 miles off the coast, depending on the hazard pattern. Like for this launch, I forget what I haven't seen it yet, what the hazard pattern is for this one. But some of them, like the Atrix launch that we just did, the 5 rockets,
right.
That was a huge pattern, and those guys were all over the place at the time, so.
They mentioned that was a huge endeavor here.
Yeah, that was,
I would love to hear that launch.
I was here.
Five?
Yeah, it was 5 of them, 5 in 5 minutes.
5 to 5 minutes.
So basically a rocket. Wow. The video is really cool. It's probably on YouTube. The way they set the cameras up was they'd launch one, then the camera would rotate to the next one, and the minute that one went, and rotate the camera again, and they just until all 5 went. And the funny thing was, we were listening to the Marine channels, and we always put notes out to all the mariners letting them know about these things, but of course they never pay attention. So of course that night, it was 11 or midnight, I can't remember when we actually launched. Oh man, all the boaters out there, holy hell, what's going on? All they see is, these rockets just taking off one at a time, Thought they were getting shelled.
Follow the notes, man.
But they never pay attention anytime we issue those things. And the news is always You know, they'll start reporting sightings and stuff. It's typical. It happens every time, especially with high scale launch like that.
Especially at night, I'm sure.
Yeah, at night they definitely show up because even the small Terrier Ryan rocket, which I think is what.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you have? Yeah, even those put off a pretty good flash at night. It's pretty neat. I never get to see it because I'm always in the bunker. I'm inside one of the buildings. One time I remember we had a really minor roll, and I was able to look at the time clock at 10 seconds before it went. I ran out the door and I was just looking at it. I was just counting my watch, and 10 seconds I got to see it, so it's like one of the few I've ever seen.
That's kind of sad. Where do you work? Yeah, so what's it like to watch a rocket launch?
I don't know. Actually, my first week here, I got lucky. I've been here just over 3 years now. It's hard to believe. And the first week I was here, we launched one of the Minotaur rockets.
Oh, wow.
It was TACSAT 3. And actually, the funny thing was, they said, we need you to start as soon as possible. And I was trying to relocate. I finally got moved up here. Started my first dance. Goes, all right, what you got to do? We don't have any time to do anything with you. We're going to stick you in the van, and you're going to sit down there, and you're not going to do anything for the next week. They were like, we have no time to give you anything to do. And I was like, so that was, so bad they needed me, but I ended up sitting in that van for a week. But the cool thing was I ended up sat in the VIP down at U40 down there, and I got to watch that rocket. I caught a cool video of it, too. So that was actually my first week here, so that was kind of cool. I've never seen one since.
Honeymoon's over. Get to work.
Yeah, get to work, pal. So, anybody have any questions?